In that significant moment, Jesus shared with his disciples that he was about to walk the path of suffering. A meal, the Last Supper, where both joy and sorrow were present. At the same table, there was Jesus and Judas, who would betray him. There was bread being broken, wine being poured, symbols of his body and blood about to be shed. This was the moment he had longed for. I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you. He knew this was the purpose he was sent for, to be the lamb slain since the foundation of the world. He was ready, but the disciples were not. Though they understood intellectually, their hearts could not yet grasp the weight of what was about to happen. This meal was both a time of joy and sadness, a strange combination of light and darkness. In our walk with Christ, there will also be such moments where happiness and trials sit together at the same table, where we must learn to embrace both at once. One of the most important things a follower of Christ must understand is that in life, moments of joy and heavy burdens often come simultaneously. These are not two separate seasons, one of joy and one of sorrow, but many times they come together, sitting side by side in the same moment. There are times when you are with loved ones, enjoying love and peace, but inside you are carrying something heavy, a pain, a worry, a personal burden that no one knows. As we grow, we must learn to accept both joy and sorrow at once, in the same place, even in the same hour. No one is exempt. Each of us has something to rejoice about and also something that weighs down our soul. That is why prayer becomes the key. In prayer, we do not let sorrow overshadow joy. We dare to face the heaviness in our hearts yet still smile, finding peace and joy in Jesus Christ. He is not only with us in the easy moments, he is also present in the heavy ones. And it is in those times that we realize true joy is not the absence of sorrow, but having Jesus in the midst of it. If there is one thing I want you to understand in your walk with Christ, it is this: happiness and heaviness always go hand in hand. We cannot always clearly distinguish the season of joy from the season of trials. Sometimes we are laughing, yet our hearts are still heavy. Sometimes, in a day full of blessings, something still breaks our hearts. Maybe you are sitting around a family meal, surrounded by loved ones, but inside you are hiding a worry that cannot be spoken. This is the reality of life, especially as we mature in faith. We all have something to rejoice about, an accomplishment, a beautiful relationship, a prayer answered. But at the same time, we all have something we don't want others to know. A wound, a mistake, a battle within. We come to church, attend service, listen to God's word, but we still face the things that are incomplete in our lives. The single person may be weary of waiting. The married may be struggling, hurt, or even not speaking to their spouse. But God is not unfamiliar with this. He understands the contradiction in our hearts. He does not love us only when we are happy, and he does not forsake us when we are sorrowful. Perhaps God allows happiness and trials to walk side by side, not to keep us from giving up, but to keep us humble. Like a pair of shoes, you cannot wear just one. Happiness lifts us up, and the burden keeps us steady. Both are necessary for us to walk firmly with him. I hope today you realize an important truth. Just because you are carrying a burden in one area of life does not mean you do not have reason to rejoice in another. Life is never all light or all dark. It is always a blend. That's why we can laugh and cry, be grateful and desire more, be strong and weak in the same moment. You may be longing for a relationship that has not yet come, feeling tired of hearing the encouragement. Be patient. God is preparing the right person for you. And if someone tells you to touch 3 people around you and say, "Be ready," you may think, "If they are not my future spouse, don't make me touch anyone." But don't forget, even married people are struggling. Some are sitting in church today while their spouse is not present because they are not talking to each other. See, joy is in one place, heaviness is in another. However, that does not mean you have failed. It simply shows you are living authentically, walking between two realities, what you have received and what you are still waiting for. God allows incompleteness to exist, not to discourage you, but so you will lean on him more. Happiness makes us grateful. The burden keeps us humble. And it is in that intersection that you will see that God is not only at the peak of blessings, but also present in the gaps, the things that are not yet perfect. He is the one who makes you stand firm, both in joy and and in sorrow. We often wish life were only joy and light, but if you pay attention, God often uses both joy and sorrow to balance us. He may give you things that make you happy so you don't give up halfway, but He also leaves some burdens within you. So you don't become proud, don't rely on yourself, but keep coming back to Him. That is the wisdom of God, a heavenly balance. Have you ever noticed that life is never completely perfect the way you want it? When finances are stable, your health may be an issue. When work is progressing, family relationships may be challenging. God is not punishing you, He is keeping you balanced. Happiness does not come alone, and sorrow will not pull you down forever. Both go together, like a pair of shoes you can't separate. Try going into a store and asking to buy just one. They'll refuse, because no one sells a single shoe. Similarly, in the spiritual journey, God gives you both joy and trial so you can walk steadily. In that combination, between happiness and burden, you learn to live authentically, with gratitude and faith. When you realize that God is with you not only when you are strong, but also when you are weak, you will become bolder in your daily walk. You will understand that true maturity is not about avoiding suffering, but about seeing God in all circumstances, and trusting that His hand is holding your life, whether happy or sad, successful or failing. Jesus is my joy in the heaviest days. He is not only the one who reigns on the glorious throne, but also the one who sits with me at the table, where the bread is broken and the wine is poured. That is a living image of His body and blood, given for me. I can lift my hands to worship because I know my life is in His hands, and His hands are steady. In His hands there is peace in the storm, hope in the hurt. Life is like that. There are times when I feel loved and blessed, but at the same time, I must carry things I can't share with anyone. There are things I proudly speak of, and things I only keep in my heart, hoping no one notices. But it is in that mixture of joy and sorrow that I meet God most genuinely. For He is not unfamiliar with meals filled with both laughter and tears. You may be in a difficult season, tight finances, marital struggles, children causing worry, or something deep within making you weary. But at the same time, perhaps in the same moment, you are receiving something to be thankful for. A prayer answered, a relationship healed, a small joy amidst life's demands. That is real life. Not perfect, but sheltered by a complete God. Prayer is the bridge that takes me through the land between joy and burden. Through prayer, I do not let sorrow swallow up joy. I learn to embrace both and continue walking in peace. For God is not only at the end of the journey, He is sitting with me, right at the table of life where joy and sorrow meet. Have you noticed that our lives always carry two opposing sides? You may be very happy in one area, such as a successful job, a prayer answered, or a dream coming true. But at the same time, you may be carrying a burden in another area, a wound in your family, a tense relationship, or a fear you cannot speak about. And if I began listing all the things people are going through, you might silently pray that I don't mention what you are hiding. That is the truth we often don't want to face, that everyone has something they are proud of, and also something they are trying to hide. Perhaps you just went through Valentine's Day, and you feel lonely, weary of hearing words of encouragement like, God is preparing the right person for you. You don't want to hear another word unless it comes with a clear confirmation from God. But at the same time, some married people are struggling with cracks in their marriage, not even speaking to their spouse, even though they are sitting in church together. All these things don't prove you lack faith. They prove you are a real human, living in an imperfect world. And in the midst of all that chaos, God is still present. He does not love you less because you carry a burden. He also does not love you more because you are happy. He is faithful, being with you in both states. And it is His presence that enables you to continue walking with both joy and sorrow in hand. I began to wonder, does God allow joy and heaviness to coexist in our lives to create balance? Perhaps the things that make me rejoice are meant to lift me up, reminding me that God is at work. But it is also those burdens that help me keep my feet on the ground, to keep me humble, not forgetting that I still need Him every day. That is a divine balance that only God can design for my life. Life is never completely easy. Those times when it seems everything is going well, there's always something pulling our hearts down. And when we feel there is no hope, a small light from God shines, reminding us that He still holds everything. That's why we shouldn't be surprised when we have to carry both joy and sorrow at the same time. God doesn't sell half-priced lives. You can't walk into a store and ask to buy one shoe. You must take the whole pair. Similarly, following God isn't just about receiving good things, but also learning to accept and walk through trials. And it is through both, what makes me laugh and what makes me cry, that I understand more deeply God's grace, His teaching, and His unchanging love. Sometimes in life we feel like we are being pulled between two worlds, a world full of light and joy, and a world full of trials and sorrow. We can't have happiness without sorrow, nor can we have sorrow without joy. Life is a blend of both, and it is God who helps us maintain balance between them. He does not come just to give us joy, but also to teach us humility through the trials. Moments of joy may lift us up, while times of sorrow help us stay grounded. Both are important. God is not only present in our happy moments, but also in our pain. His presence in both situations helps us realize that no matter how difficult life is, He still holds our lives in His hands. Therefore, let us learn to live with both joy and sorrow, knowing that God will always walk with us.